Number one symptom of an energetic cord is if you're obsessively thinking about a person or a situational conflict or any situation. It doesn't have to be conflict, but the number one symptom is obsessive thoughts about someone or something or a situation. Mentally fixating on a person, obsessive thoughts about a person, replaying a conversation excessively, telling a person off mentally, excessive angry thoughts. And this one too, inability to focus on your daily activities because of the consuming thoughts around a person or a situation. And this isn't just negative. This could be like if you're like super crushing on someone, or you're in those early stages of really liking someone, you can't stop thinking about them. Cords are being formed. Yeah. Emotional symptoms, emotionally fixating, emotional looping, processing emotional energy that does not release. That does not release. That's another clue, because it's not going to release. So it's just being funneled in, funneled in, funneled in, funneled in. You're just going to keep processing, processing, processing it, right? Extreme or irrational emotional reactions. The cord is touching on the energy block and agitating it and activating it. And the physical symptoms, you will literally feel heavy because those cords have weight, and the energy that's pumping in is weighing down your aura. Almost every single client that I have ever had has told me after removing cords off of their energy that they feel lighter, literally lighter. Another physical symptom is feeling sluggish, like, oh, because your energy is also being drained. If you're feeling drained, because cords will siphon energy. It's such common practice. Everybody cuts cords, or they call it cutting, cord cutting. And I remember back when I first tried cutting cords, I was getting results, but they just wouldn't last very long. And so over time and meditating and conversing with the divine team, they showed me to just pull it out. And considering frequency, high frequency emotion doesn't condense into energetic blocks. It'll move around and elevate low frequency energies. But low frequency energy does condense into energetic blocks. And those are the emotions that we always want to stuff and store in our chakras or deposit. People will deposit in your chakras, or will deposit it into other people. And every emotion has a frequency signature. These frequency signatures are going to provide the energetic match for a cord to connect into. If this were a chakra, we can store emotional energy blocks in our chakras. It can become wedged in any part of the chakra. And this is a ways that cords can come in. They can coil into the chakra like this to attach to an energy block. An energy block can be on the outside of a chakra, and they'll coil around the outside and constrict the chakra as it's attaching to the energy block. They do sometimes form hooks, and they'll hook into the emotional energy block. If there's damage to your chakra, and any damaged area of the chakra is going to collect energetic debris too. And that's where the cord is connecting into. And this is a visual example of an energetic cord attaching into the condensed emotional energy that collected in the aura as energetic blocks. They're going to be right here in the front, up in front of your head. And you can move your conscious awareness into these areas of your aura to feel if you notice any collection of energy in that space. If there is a collection of energy in that space, you'll notice that you're not really able to move your conscious awareness, move your energy into that area. So take a moment and feel out in front of you. Feel if you can move your energy out in front of you. If you can, then there probably is not any energy collected in that area. Now down below your waist, in front of your hip area, moving your attention, your awareness into that area. Do you feel like you can move your energy out in front of your area right there? This is a good way to scan too for any energetic accumulations. And then move your energy up over your back and shoulders. As I do this, I feel actually feel like I do have some in that. That's not a common place for me. I tend to catch stuff mostly right here. But this is also a blind spot area where a lot of energy can be deposited and you may not even notice until your shoulders start to hurt or you start to feel weighed down. So if you find that you're hunching over or you're noticing your posture is being affected, it could potentially be a lot of heavy accumulations in this dump zone area. And the lower back, if you're having a lot of lower back pain or you struggle grounding too, this stuff can get in the way and block your grounding because it's interfering with anything in this area that wants to release is just going to get stuck right here. So these are the dump zones. And they're important because people who will put their energy cords in and just pump energy into these areas. But these are the areas where people will dump into your aura with their cords, their unwanted energy. 4, a feeler cord. So Jane and John, they're they're in a relationship, but they're in a fight. They haven't spoken. And she wants to know how John is feeling. So she puts out her feeler cord to John. Psychically, she's feeling in with her cords to John. And maybe she's checking his social media and she's watching to see what he's doing, or she's just thinking about him. She's courted to him. And they're in a relationship, so they probably already have cords. So what is she going to do? She's going to absorb his fear and confusion because he's fearful and confused. He doesn't know what's going on. They're in a fight. She puts her feeler cord in there and then she just absorbs all his emotional energy. What if John's angry? What if John's angry? Same thing. She would absorb all of his anger from his feeler cord, and now she's processing all the anger, and he's feeling better. And this is why empaths end up in these relationships where their partner is like, oh, it's all in your head, or oh, you're crazy, or oh, you're overreacting, or oh, you're so emotional, or oh, you're she's because she's taking on all his emotional energy. So yeah, easy for him to keep a cool head. He doesn't have any of that energy to process because she's absorbed it all or he's deposited it all into her energy. In this case, he's like, so here she is absorbing it with her feeler cord and here he is depositing it too. The heartbreak energy, the heartbreak. So why isn't John feeling heartbroken? Let's say they broke up. Why isn't he feeling heartbroken? Because she is doing all the heartbreak emotional process for him. He's dumped all his heartbreak energy into her aura and she's feeler cord. Like, how are you feeling about things? She feels heartbreak, but then she thinks it's her heartbreak. It's not, I mean, I'm sure she probably does have her own heartbreak. She has the frequency match of heartbreak, of her own heartbreak. And there's a perfect match spot for his heartbreak energy to group together. And she holds it and processes it. And he feels fine. He feels fine. This right here is also why a lot of times after a breakup, the woman feels really terrible at first, but then she begins to heal. And then and the man has like that delayed process. He starts to go through his emotional processing pretty long stretch after the breakup. That's because she finally stops processing his emotional energy, and then he's forced to, at that point, process his own emotional energy. Because she finally heals herself and gets better and stops processing his energy, and then he's like finally feeling it. Here's an energy vamping cord. So we've got Karen and Trish, and they work together. And Trish has noticed every time she goes to work, man, her energy just feels zapped. Well, Karen has damage to her aura. And notice how Karen's aura is a little bit bigger, Trisha's aura is a little bit smaller. Trisha's life force energy has been drained by Karen. Karen's taking all of Trisha's life force energy, vitality, her solar plexus vitality, to source her own because Karen has damage to her aura. Karen probably wouldn't be like this if her aura was repaired. And this is, what an energy vampire is. It's a person who has probably a compromised energy system and they're outsourcing energy. They need energy from someone else to supplement their own because theirs is weakened. But the people around them are all going to feel like poor Trish here, and their aura is going to be depleted. Here's an example of a control cord. In this case, here's dad and his daughter. And he has a very strong opinion of how she should be living her life and what choices he thinks she should be making. And he will be also communicating that to her psychically with his cord. And that energy from him is going to collect all around her head area. Those are these are his thoughts. She thinks they're her thoughts. This is the energy form of her father's instructions, controlling her thoughts and her decision making. She's not living for herself. She's living for her father. She just doesn't know it because, her dad's pumping all of this in. Now, on some psychic subconscious level, she knows it. And maybe deep down she feels resentment towards him because she's aware of this. But this is an example of how people can control. They're sending messages, and it will be to this area, to the higher chakras. So they're going to influence the thinking. Yeah. And this one is so big. This one, how an ex can pollute. And this can also apply in with a family member or a friend. Because what will happen is people will like get into psychic battle over another person. In this case, I'm going to use an ex. And so we've got Jack and Jill. They're in a relationship, okay? And they have a cord together. They're in a relationship. They have a cord. Jill's got a feeler cord to Jack, her boyfriend. But her boyfriend is still corded to his ex. And his ex has a feeler cord to him. Yeah. And the ex is depositing a lot of her energy into Jack's aura as a way of claiming ownership of him. Because this ex has not let go. She's like, he's mine, but he's my guy. He's my guy. She's pumping all her emotional energy or all of her energy. And so Jill's, she's got her new boyfriend, but she's got a feeler cord on her new boyfriend, and she keeps feeling the ex's energy. She keeps feeling the ex's energy, and she's like, but I feel this other woman's energy. Now she may recognize it's the ex's energy that she's feeling. Or if she doesn't know about the ex, she might just be like, I don't know, I feel like another woman's energy on my man. And Jill might start to gaslight herself. And if Jack is cool, he might be really supportive of it. Who knows? But if Jack is a jerk, he might be like, well, you're just imagining things, right? Yeah. Because Jill can feel the energy of Jack's ex when she puts her feeler cord out because Jack's filled up with his ex's energy. And now let's say the ex knows about Jill. Let's say the ex finds out about Jill. The ex is like, oh, he's got a new girlfriend. The ex is going to court the new girlfriend. because she's psychically fixating on her. The ex is like, well, what does he see in her? What makes her so great or whatever. Let's see, maybe she's triggered, she's activated her abandonment wound, her heartbreak, whatever. She's fixating on the new girlfriend and putting out her feeler cords and her dumper cords. Her dumper cords are going to be all of her insecurity and all of her jealousy. So Jill, all of a sudden, and let's say Jill, what if Jill doesn't even know about the ex? All of a sudden, Jill, she's in this new relationship. Suddenly, she starts feeling another woman's energy on her man, and then she starts feeling jealous and insecure and drained because the ex is starting to steal Jill's energy, right? With her feeler cord. And now the ex is starting to carry that energy, all of Jill's wonderful, beautiful energy. This is this is super common. Super common. And it's energetic contamination from the ex into Jill, and it's making Jill feel anxious all the time. Okay. This is an example of what is very common in relationships, and that's why you really want your man to not have cords on him from exes. But this could also be a family member. This isn't just an ex. What if a mom is overbearing? Or a friend, a bro, is like, oh man, you're spending more time with her than you are with me. He might be dumping some hostile energy. So this can happen in many different ways. You get this triangle going on, and what's going to happen whenever you get a triangle? What's going to happen? I'm going to go back. What's going to happen when you get a triangle like this? And or you get all this negative energy. Well, invasive energies are going to come on into the picture because they love it. And there'll be invasive energies on these cords trying to keep these cords in place because invasive energy is benefiting. The invasive energy is like, woo, I can just feast on all of this. Here's an example of energetic overdose. Dan is, you know, really Dan is really into his girlfriend Rebecca, and he just he's possessive of her. Dan is possessive, and with his possessiveness, he's actually overdosing her with his energy. And it's similar to the one with the ex claiming because he's claiming Rebecca with his energy, with his possessive energy, his possessive deposit cord. So Rebecca's just, she is so full of Dan's energy. He's funneling as much of his energy as he can into Rebecca's aura as an effort to hold on to her. Oh, what's going on with Dan? I mean, he probably has an abandonment issue, or he's just afraid Rebecca's going to leave him, or maybe he's deep down insecure. Who knows what's up with Dan? But for whatever reason, Dan is possessive of her, so he's pumping all of his energy into her. And Rebecca is what's going to happen. Rebecca is going to start to feel an aversion to Dan because, on a psychic subconscious level, she's recognizing, oh my goodness, my energy can't circulate. I don't feel like myself. She's feeling energetically smothered. And so, on a psychic subconscious level, she will start pulling away. And if she was able, and if Rebecca was like, bless and send home all of Dan's energy, and then call home her personal energy from Dan, they do like a nice energetic reset, that would really level up the quality of their connection and their relationship and evolve it into a healthier place. Ooh, sexual cords. Okay, so Ned lives next door to Jessica, and he thinks that Jessica is super fly. He thinks she is the cat's meow. He's like, she is beautiful. And so he actually fantasizes about her. And when he fantasizes about her, what's he doing? He's putting a cord out to her sacral chakra. And it's probably going to the backside of her sacral chakra because she doesn't know about it. Okay, this is a blind spot. She has no idea that this dude is sexually fantasizing about her and pumping his sexual energy into the backside of her sacral chakra. And when Ned first moved in, next to Jessica. Jessica's like, oh, he looks like a cool guy. Like, I'd like to get to know him. But then she started to get the ick towards him. She started to get the ick towards him. And the reason why she started to get the ick towards him is because of this. Because this is essentially the equivalent of psychic. It is. And it's sad to say because like a lot of people fantasize and a lot of people fantasize about other people, but the more you begin to learn about energy, the more you begin to realize like, oh, like this isn't clean. Like you should never entertain fantasies about someone. I mean, I guess unless they consciously know about it and they're okay with it or something, but because this is can happen. And what else is going to happen? Invasive energies are going to come along. Like, what if Ned has a porn addiction? If Ned has a porn addiction, he's definitely got like a bunch of entities in his sacral. So those entities and that energy, are probably encouraging him to direct that, to have fantasies about his neighbor Jessica. And what if Jessica has a big, beautiful, powerful energy, and he wants to just, and those invasive energies can get him. And now I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, yeah, really, this can happen even without Jessica's permission? Where's the permission? How's this coming in? Yeah? How's this coming in without permission? Well, if Jessica has any blocks there and like energy groups together, yeah? And invasive energies do what invasive energies do. Another way that she can accidentally give him permission. Maybe she holds the door open for him and he says, thank you. And she says, you're welcome. You're welcome. What's your welcome? And I saw this at some point where a guy said, don't say you're welcome because you're giving permission, because your welcome is a permission. And I had this whole mind blown moment because it's just the same as welcome mats, it's permission. So that they're sneaky. Or maybe he's just like, oh, hey, want some cookies or food? You accept food, right? That's permission. They get permission in sneaky ways. Abuser cord tactics. This is how one person will hold another person energetically hostage. So we have Mike and Mandy. Mike is abusive, and his wife is abused by him. And Mandy, she feels like she can't leave the relationship. Why does she feel like she can't leave the relationship? He's essentially holding her energetically hostage using his control cords. He's funneling his threatening energy through his control cords to silence her voice, throat chakra. He's got her throat chakra corded, and her solar plexus to control her and make her feel fearful. He probably has corded her root chakra too to make her feel like she can't survive without him or she won't be safe without him. But I just wanted to point out here that the number one control tactics that abusers use to hold a person psychically hostage, energetically hostage, is the throat and the solar. Abusers will target the throat chakra and the solar plexus chakra. Because if they can control the throat and solar plexus chakra, then the person will not feel like they can leave because they can't leave because they're bound. Yeah. But if they cleared the cords and that energy, then they would suddenly feel like they have that agency to do so again. Because I see it a lot. Like you might see how there's a lot of judgment towards women who stay in abusive relationships. But usually that's coming from people who've never been in an abusive relationship. So they have no idea what it's like. But on a psychic level, if she is hostage, she's not going to have the power or the will. She's not going to have the will to leave or the voice to ask for help. So let's talk about removing energetic cords step by step. You can use your healing tools and you can use the templates. Oh, I have templates in my book. Or you can use your own templates. You use sage, Palo Santo, your crystals to help like pull it out. You can use your resins, your singing bowls, bells, drums. You can use all the things. You can use all your tools. Yeah. And the intention And so we're going to go ahead and I call upon my angels and guides of the highest frequencies of love and healing to come and be present and assist in providing for me or the name of the client if you're healing someone the most powerful and effective healing possible in this moment for my greatest or their greatest, highest, and good. Setting intention, inviting your divine team to help. And then the first thing we're going to do is we're going to scan. We're going to scan. You can scan using visualization, ask the question, are there any cords, and see if you get an image. You can use your clairsentience, scanning with your hands. By moving your hands slowly around your body, you're looking to feel for areas with changes of density. Or you just trust your intuition, set intention, trust your intuition, and you're like, I just know I got a cord right here. Yeah. Or the templates, yeah. And the common areas to look for cords, the heart chakra is one of the most common areas. People who are controlling will tend to cord the solar plexus chakra. And the throat chakra is also a highly targeted area from people and from invasive energies. So we want to loosen the grip. We want to loosen the grip. And here's my image for you're grabbing the cord and you're pulling it out. You're pulling it out with your hand. And then you're holding it. And when you put in that psychic request for the divine to take the cord, you will sense that it just leaves. But we still got this energetic block right here. And using your tools, using your smudge or your resins or your herbs, we're going to dissolve the energy block. Pulling out that energy block. And then introducing golden healing light to dissolve the energy block. You could also hand it to your divine team if they'll accept it. They can help you to reset that energy. It is possible and likely that you'll feel that emotion once you're on the block. You'll feel that twing, that, like you hit a nerve, but it's an emotion nerve. Like you'll feel that emotional surge when you're on it. And it's possible. But then you'll feel a release once it's cleared. And it might intensify for a moment, as you identify it and clear it. Step 3 is you want to repair the area. And that's directing that healing energy to the location where it was. You don't have to be perfectly precise with it, just, intention wherever it was, like healing energy to that area. So the chakra can reform. And now we want to release the outside emotional energy that was pumped in from the cord. Yeah, and probably gathering around that block. So blessings and home. And that outside energy, see, where is it? It's right here in like her dump zone right here. And just blessings and home, outside energy that doesn't belong to me. And it just goes. And if you're energetically sensitive, it's cool to notice how it just leaves. And very much like I demonstrate here in the image, in my little animation. Step 5 is retrieving your personal energy. You got the outside energy out of the way. A lot of your energy was taken from the court, so now you're calling home your personal energy. And then it comes in very much like shown in this image here. You want to reset it, clear it, heal it, introduce that golden healing energy to your energy as you call it back in, and then accepting it back into your aura. Because this is all that energy that was lost through the cords.